The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a new milestone in Topic Time Nation history. I am doing for the first time ever, 2 shows in the same day on the same set. It's unbelievable here at ECAT. Because of the holiday yesterday, this lovely young lady, Natalia, who's a film director, I believe, correct?
Yes.
She was going to be my guest at Area 58, but they threw me out of there for the day because of the holiday. I know it's a great holiday, and so she's here today instead, and we always make it work. But like every other show we do, before we start, we got to read these incredible underwriters, and then we will commence per usual. We got some new ones. So we have Debbie's Images Hair Salon in Wareham. They're a new one. We got Adobo Republic. They're a food truck in East Wareham. They're a new one. We have the Riverside Cafe in Wareham. We have Lucky Goat Brewery. They're in Wareham. They're a new one. We have New England Floorscapes in Middleborough. We have Gregory Scott Jewelers in Middleborough. We have Kingston Auto Body in Kingston. We have Madigan Land Surveying in Middleborough. We have One Good Credit in Brockton. We have Pals Driving School in Middleborough, setting up classes for October. Check that website. We have A1's Tire and Auto Center in Brockton, always in search of new service writers and techs. And even if you don't know how to do it, send someone by that does. We have Brian's Barbershop in Kingston. We have Eli's Auto Care in Taunton. We have Santoro's Pizza in East Wareham. We have Lynch's Towing, Auto Cycle and Truck Center in Brockton. 1 number for towing, 1 number for projects. My pal Lynchy there is always in search of new service writers, techs. He's in search of new transportation, wheels, anything to do with transportation. He handles it all. That other one was at A1's. I got that messed up, no problem. We have Salon Giovanni in Marshfield. We have good old Dave's Automotive in Hanson on Route 58. We have the Gunrunner LLC, the Second Amendment Freedom Store in Middleborough, specializing in customer service, pricing, and selection. And we have Tom Auto in Middleborough. And I want to thank you guys very much. And now I officially will introduce this lovely young film director, Natalia. How you doing today? Thanks for coming up here from the biggest little state in the Union, Rhode Island, to do my show. Is that where you live?
I do live in Rhode Island. Thanks for having me, Harrison.
Thank you. Are you a lifelong Rhode Islander?
I am. I've lived in a number of different states over the years, but I was born in Rhode Island and I live there now.
Okay, great. Now you went out to LA and we're going to talk about that too. But like I do with every guest, I mean, you did that for a year. So that wasn't, obviously you had a mission out there. Anytime you travel somewhere for a year, there's a mission. If you travel somewhere for a week, it's a vacation. If you travel somewhere for a year, it's a mission. So we'll talk all about that. But tell me about your childhood. Where did you grow up? I mean, you said you grew up in Rhode Island. You were born and raised there. What did you aspire to as a child? You look like you were outgoing and probably.
I grew up in a very creative neighborhood. So
how so?
We had a lot of fun. We would do things like talent shows, and we had a neighborhood newspaper, and we made movies. We were always doing something creative.
That's awesome. What town was that?
Warwick.
Oh, Vinny Paz. I know I had him on the show. I went to pick him up about 5-6 years ago. 7 years ago. I remember September 28th of 2017, one of my previous locations. Wow.
Oh.
Okay. So you and the other neighborhood children, is that what you mean?
Yes.
Okay. And what about your own family? Did that include your family too?
Yeah, they did a little bit, not as much as I did, but.
Well, okay. Now, when you say talent shows, you're talking about, like music, acting?
Yeah, talent shows. We would sing and dance and do skits and things like that for the parents. All the kids in the neighborhood would come together. And do that for
basically you were trying to please the parents to show them that that you were sacred, basically. in a creative sort of way.
We were just having fun.
Of course. Well, that's great. That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
All right. Well, did you specialize in anything in particular, like music or singing and dancing?
Movies. I made my first movie when I was 10.
Wow. Okay. Well, tell me about the first movie. What was that, and how did you go about doing it?
It was really silly. We had a pool growing up, and every year the company would come and they would have a truck, and they would take all the equipment out of the truck to get the pool set up for the year. So the truck was empty, so we pretended it was an airplane and that it crashed.
Okay.
And then we had a big garden with a big circular driveway in the front of our house, and then we pretended we were lost on an island going through the garden. So it was called The Castaways.
Okay, that was very clever. So was that your idea?
Yeah.
Wow. And did you do this with like a 16 millimeter camera?
It was 8mm.
Okay, 8mm. I don't know much about film cameras. I know that, but that's wonderful. Did you, and this was when you were 10. How many people in that film?
Oh, I don't know. There were 5 or 6 of us, I guess.
Now, were you in the film too, or were you just behind the scenes?
No, I was behind the scenes.
You were always behind. Did you?
The star of the film was this little guy named Will, who was this little tiny kid in our neighborhood.
Okay.
And he put on this.
He was younger than you at the time.
Oh yeah, he was younger than I was. About 5 or 6.
Right,
at the
time. Yeah.
So he put on this big cowboy hat and he said, "Hi, I'm Will, and I'm from Texas." He was so cute.
Oh, okay. So basically, these people were supposed to be survivors of a plane crash.
Yes.
and you almost made it humorous.
Oh yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. Wow, that's incredible. I wonder if the Rhode Island Board of wonder if Chad Verdi knows about that. You know him?
No.
You never heard of Chad Verdi? He's like the biggest film producer.
Oh, I heard of him, but I don't know him personally.
Okay, I've met him before. I tried to get him on the show. I don't think it's going to happen. I'd rather have you on. You're much prettier and you're probably more creative than he is.
Oh, thank you.
But that's wild. Okay, that's an amazing thing. So. Did you now, in order to create a film, did you edit it yourself too? And did you have to edit it, right?
When I was 10, no. I mean, we just whatever we shot. We just kind of
came out of
edited
the
in the camera. Yeah, we just edited in camera. We'd shoot a shot and then we'd shoot another shot, and we did it in order, and then we just played it for our parents.
Now I'm trying to date myself. Was this before the age of digital?
Yeah.
I mean, because you don't look that old. But
it was before digital, yes.
Okay, but so this was basically a reel-to-reel thing.
Yeah.
Well, okay, wow. Well, that's pretty impressive. All right. Well, so when you realized you could do something that creative at such a young age, I guess it prompted you to do more such things, right?
There was a big gap. I didn't become a filmmaker until the 90s.
Until the 90s?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm thinking. Well, I'm looking at you and I'm thinking you were probably born in the 90s, but based on what you're telling me, I guess you're a lot older than you look.
No, I was born in the 60s.
You were?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
If you were born in the 60s, you got to be at least. In your 50s.
I'm not going to give my exact
all right,
age,
but yeah, because if you were born in if you were born, you have to be in your 50s. Wow, that's unbelievable. That's congratulations, I'm drinking from the fountain of youth every day.
Thank you.
I mean, you're younger than me, but by not that much. That's amazing. I was born in the 50s, the very end.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, interesting. Okay. All right. Did you go to college at all for filmmaking?
Not for filmmaking. I went to Duke University, and when I was there, I studied computer science.
Okay.
I didn't get into filmmaking until after college.
Oh,
a few
okay.
years after, yeah.
So basically, you said there was a long, time gap between when you were 10 years old and when you finally did it again.
There was a big time gap.
All right. Well, what did you do in between those things? What other things did you do? Sounds like you had a lot of stuff. Big plethora of stuff.
I did. After Duke, I got my MBA, and then I went into.
I should know what that is. What's an MBA?
It's a Master's in Business Administration.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Nothing creative about that at all.
I was a bachelor's, so that's why I didn't know. Okay.
And then I became a I became a recruiter in the computer field.
A computer recruiter?
A computer recruiter. I recruited computer people. So that's what I did.
Next to a silly poet. You're not gonna trip me up with one of those.
So I did that for a few years. And then I longed to do something more creative, so then I got into filmmaking after that.
Okay, all right. So how many years would you say elapsed between your first film and when you were doing 30 maybe?
Between 10 and 34, so
24 years.
Yeah.
Almost a quarter century.
It was a big gap.
Okay, great. Well, that was, all right, well, so you've been doing it ever since?
I've been doing it ever since, yeah.
All right, now, did you have your own filmmaking company?
I do.
Okay, tell me describe it, name it, and tell me how many people you have.
It's called G&G Media, and my ex-husband and I started it a few years ago.
Okay.
And it's just the two of us normally, but then when we're actually shooting, we bring on the cast and crew for each project. So we just hire people on a per project basis.
Okay, and by the way, about halfway through the show, we're going to watch a couple of trailers of Dawn's that you created with this company, right?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. I'm looking forward to that. All right, interesting. But when it comes to creating a new film, what do you do to get new actors? Do you like set up auditions?
Sometimes. I tend to work with a lot of the same actors over and over again. I have a core group of actors that I really like.
Okay.
And so I work with them.
Let me just see is Charlie Alejandro one of them?
No, she's not an actor. Actually, she runs the studio where we shoot sometimes.
In Rhode Island?
No, in Lowell, Massachusetts.
Lowell, that's right. She's from Lowell. That's right, because I know I interviewed, as I mentioned to you, I had her on the show in 2011, a long time ago. It doesn't seem like it, but now I sort of forgotten what she did. I know she was big up there. So you basically go to. So is she is her studio one of the venues where you shoot?
Yes.
One of more than one, I assume, right?
Yes. Charlie and her husband Mel own a studio called Beantown Stady Productions.
And that's in Lowell?
It's in Lowell.
Okay.
And
would it be on Market Street by any chance?
No, it's on Phoenix Avenue.
Okay, I know Market Street because I had somebody up there that I collaborated with that has a show like mine, Bob McCarthy. I don't know if you know who he is.
I don't know.
Okay.
But Mel and Charlie are super creative, and they have this guy Sang, who's my production designer, who works with them.
Okay.
So when we shoot up there, he's always designing different sets. We shot a FBI interrogation room with them.
Wow.
Then we built a nightclub set in the 1950s with them.
Oh wow.
And we did a medical center set in the future with them in 2075.
Okay.
And our next thing is we're going to shoot Heaven in July.
Can I be in that one?
We're working on it. You want to be an angel?
Yeah, I'd rather be than the alternative, obviously.
We're not doing hell.
Exactly. Wow. That's going to be the one afterwards. You're going to give hell equal time, I guess. Well, it's up to you. You figure. Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, tell me a little. I mean, I'm always loved science fiction. What did you come up with for the 2075 Medical Center? What did you make it look like?
So the 2075 story is all about AI. So it's
of course.
The year is 2075, and they're having a grand opening of a family recreation center. It's part bowling alley, part bar, and part arcade.
Okay.
And it's this grand opening night, and then all of a sudden AI decides they want to take over humanity. So they shut down the power grid, and then the medical center comes into play because someone's hurt, and then they have to save this person and get the power restored and battle AI.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, how do you do these special effects? Is that also, I assume it's AI, right?
It's not AI, no, but I have a couple of editors, one in particular that's very good with special effects.
Okay, yeah. I mean, my hunch is aside from Charlie, I probably had people on my show that you've worked with. I saw some other people that look familiar.
Oh.
Okay, wow. And this is amazing. So how many places do you go to do your productions besides your own? You have your own studio in Rhode Island, but you have Charlie's. Is there anywhere else?
Well, we don't shoot in Rhode Island. We only shoot in Massachusetts. Massachusetts, this state has very good tax credits.
Oh,
so
okay. I heard Rhode Island was cheaper. No. That's what. Remember that TV show Body of Proof?
Yeah.
You remember that?
I've heard of it, but
well, they shot it in Rhode Island because the people from LA from Hollywood came to Rhode Island to shoot that. Because it was almost a tax-free base for the shooting.
Right.
That's what I heard. Now maybe I'm wrong.
No, I'm sure it's good for Hollywood people, but I'm an independent filmmaker, so I work with smaller budgets, and Rhode Island has a minimum that we don't meet to qualify for tax credits, whereas we do meet the minimum in Massachusetts. So we do all our shooting.
So all you do is shooting in Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. Okay, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have children?
I don't.
Yeah, wow. They're adult. I guess they're adults. Are they part of your acting troupe at all?
I don't have children.
Oh, I thought you said you did.
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't? Okay. All right. Well, that's probably what keeps you so young. Okay.
I have 3 cats. They keep me busy.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, 2 cats are great. Cats are great. Do you ever include animals in your productions?
Oh, I do, yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
In fact, once I did a sitcom pilot called Public Access, and it was about all these quirky characters at a public access station.
Like us?
Yes, like you. And one of them had an animal show, and all the animals were always getting loose. So we had a pig that was running through the studio, and we had 2 alpacas, and we had a goat, and it was very fun.
Did you really have all those animals?
Yeah, we really had them in the public access studio. We shot in a public access studio up in Medford, and the animals were physically there running through the studio, and it was a blast.
Did you say Medford?
Yeah,
do you know John Pierce?
Yes.
John Pierce was a guest on my show. He's one of the funniest people I ever. And he was in a sitcom. Is he one of your actors?
Yes, he is. He was in that. He was in Public Access. He was the cooking show guy. He had a cooking show.
He had a cooking show? Okay. I didn't know what kind of show he had, but he is one of the funniest people I ever had on my show.
He was. He
says to me, he goes, what are you doing here without your ankle bracelet? That was just because he did like little, he was sitting there.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
Yes.
I did a mob comedy musical with him too.
Yeah, that's right.
He was one of my mobsters.
Okay. So you do a lot of writing, I assume, right?
I do, yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But you don't do any of the acting?
Occasionally I'll do acting. If there's a small part that I want to film and I can't find anybody, I'll step in and do it. But for the most part, I prefer to do the writing and directing.
Okay, well, guess what? We're about halfway through the show, and right now we're going to watch a couple of Dawn's trailers, and we'll be right back to talk about them. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Now apologize.
But she was kissing him.
Kissing who?
Him!
Is it you? You can tell me. I'll keep it on the down low.
You think it was me? Really?
It's always the quiet ones, right?
You know, I should probably ask you if it's you.
Fact of the matter is, if anybody at this poker game is likely to be having an affair with Eloise, it's you.
Oh, really?
We have a situation here.
Oscar Stanharfer goes on trial in 2 weeks. How it all plays out is anyone's guess.
I crawl inside the minds of the accused, trying to understand the why.
You and I were destined to meet at this exact time on this very day.
I'm here concerning the whereabouts of Kathleen Wade, and we still believe her disappearance is directly connected to Stanhofer.
We knew that. We just didn't have the
There remains evidence. That's why I'm here.
You and I have more in common than you think. We're solitary creatures. We exist because we're needed.
You don't fool me with your act, because I know who and what you are. Tell me what the hell it is you're doing in here.
My job.
Your job.
Have you thought about it? What it would be like?
Can you guarantee me I'll have something to go to trial with?
Because right about now it sinks in that each is part of a lethal cocktail that's about to enter your bloodstream. Oscar, I've witnessed too many of these and they all end the same. I just thought you should know the truth.
Pockets full of roses, ashes, ashes, you'll fall.
Oh, Dawn, that was great. Tell me what we just watched.
Well, I'm working on a feature film right now.
Okay.
That's spiritual in nature.
Okay.
And it deals with reincarnation.
Okay.
It's about these three souls that go to heaven, and then they are incarnated 3 additional times onto Earth.
Okay.
In different time periods. One is in 1956, one is in 2022, and one is in 2075. So we've shot the 3 incarnations so far in those time periods. And now we're going to be shooting the heaven scenes that kind of wrap around all of those incarnations. And then we'll put the feature all together.
Very clever.
So what you saw was 2 of the incarnations. The first one was set in 1956.
Yep.
And the second one was set in 2022.
2020 and the third one in 2075.
That one we're editing right now.
Does that have anything to do with the film that we talked about a few minutes ago?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a piece of it. We actually, the first 2 incarnations we released as short films just to kind of test them in film festivals.
Okay.
And they've done really well. They won a bunch of awards, so I guess we're on the right track. But
high five. Well, tell me about, speaking of your film festivals, tell me about the ones you've had your films in. Have you been to Cannes?
I've been to Cannes, but not with
not for the film.
Not with this one.
Okay.
Yeah, not with this
well,
one.
all right, that's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, so this one, let's see, the first incarnation that we sent out was the one set in 2022. It was a psychological thriller.
Okay.
And it's set in an FBI office in Miami.
Oh, okay.
And that one we took to the Boston International Film Festival last year.
Okay.
And it won a recognition award. And then we went to the Block Island Film Festival, and it won the Best Actor and the Best Screenwriter award.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That includes you, obviously.
No, it doesn't. I didn't write that piece.
Oh, you didn't?
My ex-husband wrote that piece. That's Larry Natalia. He did a wonderful job with that incarnation.
Did you say Larry Natalia?
Yeah.
Is that your husband?
My ex-husband.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And the Best Actor went to Sean Fitzgibbon.
Okay.
He's an actor I work with quite a bit. So then the second incarnation is a mystery, and that's set in 1956.
Yep.
And we just went to a couple of film festivals with that one. We went to the Boston International Film Festival, and it won the Indie Soul Best Storyline Award.
Sweet.
And then we just went to the New Bedford Film Festival, and I won the Best Director of a Short Film.
I'm amazed that they actually have film. That's great. I'm amazed they have film festivals on Block Island in New Bedford, though. That's
Yeah.
I have no idea. I imagine they have one in Martha's Vineyard too, don't they? I thought I heard that
Yep,
they did.
they
Have you ever
do.
been on one of those?
I have not been to that one, no.
Okay. What was the biggest one you've ever entered your films in? It sounds like you've done quite a few.
Well, it's been a while. The biggest one.
If you're not sure, that's fine.
Maybe
but
Woods Hole.
Where?
Woods Hole, maybe that was many
Woods
years
Hole?
ago. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow. That's.
Maybe that one.
Well, tell me about. You said you went out to LA for a year. What was that about?
Well, I started a nonprofit called Scene Teens, where I used to work with at-risk teenagers,
Okay.
and I'd take my filmmaker friends and we'd mentor them.
Okay.
And we'd develop screenplays, and then we'd allow them to shoot. They'd act in the films, and
Okay.
then we'd teach them some of the behind-the-camera stuff as well. And my thought in going out to LA was I wanted to start a chapter in LA.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it didn't work out.
Oh,
I
okay.
did go out there, but I didn't really get a lot of interest in what I was doing out there as far as the nonprofit stuff.
So basically, you were looking for at-risk kids to help straighten them out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Giving them something, allowing them to take their creative energy and put it to positive
Oh
use.
yeah, of course.
So yeah, that
Well, I'm
was
sure
the
there's
idea.
plenty of opportunity to do that around here, though, isn't there?
Yeah, in fact, we did shoot one project with Scene Teens in Medford, and we won a public access award a few years. It was like 2008.
Wow,
For
okay.
the Making a Difference award, and that was a national award. It was,
Wow, I guess it was.
Because what we did was it was a story called Wise Guys.
Okay.
Wise Boys. I'm sorry.
It's something to do with the mob.
It had gangs. It
What
had
is
to
it?
do with gangs.
Gangs,
So
well, similar.
it was about these kids were high school age kids.
Yep.
And it was about this sweet guy, Petey, who got tempted into joining a gang, and then all the disastrous consequences that happened because of that. So it was a
Okay.
cautionary tale.
I understand. Okay, telling people, it's like a moral to it.
Exactly.
Yeah, great. Oh, those are good.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any? Are there any directors that inspire you, or have inspired you?
I like Luc Besson. I think he's a good director.
I know the name.
Yeah.
Not Spielberg, I guess.
No, well, Spielberg's wonderful, of course. They're all great. I mean, it's like,
What about Scorsese?
Oh, he's great too.
Because I was in Shutter Island.
Oh, you
I
were?
worked, in 2008.
I like that movie. What
I was
did you do?
I was one of the mental patients of all I was born to play.
So, so what did you get to do?
I got to make love to a tree and pretend to prune it. And that opening scene in the yard, you know that one?
Yeah.
We did two scenes. We did one in the winter, in the inside, and they had me handcuffed and foot shackled, and they were leading me across the floor.
Oh.
You couldn't really see me doing that, but that scene at the beginning, the winter scene was inside what used to be a mental hospital in the town of Medway, Mass. I think it's Medway. Yeah, it was called. It's an old condemned building with a lot of the bricks and windows falling out, but the townspeople treat it like a shrine because it's on like 6 acres and they use it for stuff like this.
Yeah.
And then the second scene in the summer, that's when we did the outside stuff with where we were. The patients were doing stuff in the yard, and I tell you what, look, Leonardo DiCaprio looked at me like he thought I was the real deal.
Yeah, you were good.
I know. I was, like I said, well, I was born to play. But in Scorsese, I worked with him. He was great. Ironically, I worked with Spielberg 11 years earlier in Amistad, and he fired me on the set.
Oh, you were down in Rhode Island?
No, that was in Boston.
Oh, it was in Boston?
Yep, that was at the State House in Boston on March 22nd. Yep. And on that note, we're down to the final 5 minutes of the show. I hope you had fun talking to me.
I did. It's been a blast.
It has been. Okay, now, what I want you to do is look at the camera there, give shouts out to people that are going to see the show, because there are going to be quite a few of them, and then just condense them, and then we'll wrap the show up with my snap and the way we began it. So go ahead.
Okay, a shout out to my three souls that are playing, the actors who are playing. That would be Larry Natalia, Sean Fitzgibbon, and Kevin O. Peterson. And to my cinematographer, Sam Kruger, and my second second camera and gaffer and editor. Sam does editing too, but Josh Leonard.
Perfect. And if you have any, if you had a good time with me, what I'd like you to do, you have my digits. Give my digits to anybody you think might be a good guest on my show. Whether you can do it in person or by Zoom. I always prefer the in-person interview. I'm glad you made the effort to get here. It's certainly easier. The last show I did about a half hour ago was great too, but I had a little trouble hearing the gentleman I was talking to. I think it'll still. You're not going to be able to tell that when you see the show because I'm good at listening with my forehead too. If I can't hear someone, I can still glean what they're saying, but it'll be okay. All right, now, do you have anything coming up on that you want to mention that you might overlook? We want to make sure we cover everything coming up in the summer or whatever.
Yeah, this summer we're shooting the heaven scenes, so I'm very excited about that. So I can put the whole feature together, and then we'll hopefully take it to some film festivals and see what happens with it.
I got to ask one question about you haven't seen, and that I mean, I would think that if somebody's going to heaven, they don't have to come back to earth. Their penance is done, and they're like, I mean, but you got them coming back in reincarnated form. I'm just wondering what that's about. If not,
the idea behind it is that they want to learn lessons so that they can take their soul to another level.
Almost so like they weren't good enough to heaven after all, so they got to come back to earth to do something else to prove it.
It's not that they weren't good enough. They're not really being judged by God or by anyone else. It's more of a self-judgment. They might not feel that they've really learned all the lessons they need to learn, so they want to go back and learn something else.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope I get to make that choice when I die instead of having God, cast doubt on that very quickly. So I hope you're right. I hope the way you created it is the way it is.
We'll find out.
Yeah, I guess we will. Okay. All right. That's it. You did a wonderful job.
Thank you.
And have you ever done anything else in entertainment? Have you ever done any modeling? Have you ever done do you do any artwork, anything like that?
No, just filmmaking.
Just filmmaking. Okay. And this is not your first TV appearance. I'm just wondering, how much media coverage have you gotten so far?
I've done quite a few interviews. I've also given interviews, so I'm used to it.
Oh, good. Okay, so obviously it's nothing new for you. All right.
No.
Okay, that's
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. Okay, 2 minutes. And have you never done anything in music?
No, I played the piano growing up.
Me too.
But yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I don't sing. I can't sing at all. I'm terrible at that.
Well, have you ever incorporated music into your films though? And if so, how would you do? If I assume you have music in your films, backdrops and stuff.
Yes, in fact, the incarnation that we shot recently that was set in 1956. One of the scenes takes place in a nightclub, and it's some of the main characters are jazz musicians. And so one of the guys, Ron Murphy, he's out of Natick, Massachusetts. He wrote this song called Cookie, which is a very funny jazz song. And he and his musicians perform it in the film.
Oh, okay, that's great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful because but that's how. But is that do you have do you use scores for musical backgrounds too when you need them?
Yes, absolutely.
And sound effects and everything. And as far as editing, you do a lot of it yourself?
I used to. Right now, I don't. I hire Sam Kruger, who is my director of photography or cinematographer, as some people call them, and Josh Leonard. So Josh will generally do the rough cut, and then Sam will take it and do the fine cut. So they take care of it. And
I'd love to have any of those people. I'd love to get them on as guests. All right. All right, on that note, we're going to wrap the show up. You ready to snap away? If you don't have to, but if you want to, that's fine. All I ask is that you don't bang the table. None of my female guests have done that because we have a very jumpy CD in the boombox.
Oh, okay.
All right, folks. We're going to wrap up another great episode of Topic Time. 2 in 1 day, first time ever at the same location, but that's Topic Time Nation. We're always expanding and conquering more turf. So see you next time. More great episodes to follow. Signing off and snapping out. There we go.